Every day we wake up to news that reminds us of how fragile life truly is. Today, the world lost four remarkable American legends, people who inspired us, entertained us, and shaped our culture in ways we'll never forget. Their stories remind us that greatness isn't about how long we live. It's about the mark we leave behind. The news of Jackie Ferrara's passing was met with quiet sadness across the art world. On an autumn morning in late October 2025, word began to spread that the American sculptor, known for her distinctive pyramidal wood structures, had died peacefully at the age of 95. For those who followed her work, the moment felt like the end of an era, a farewell to one of the last voices of minimalist sculpture's golden age. Born Jacqueline Hirschhorn in Detroit on November 17, 1929, Ferrara's journey into art began long before she was ever called an artist. She grew up fascinated by the geometry of buildings, the repetition of steps, and the quiet strength of structure. Those simple fascinations would one day define her creative identity. After moving to New York in the 1950s, she immersed herself in the avant-garde scene, working among dancers, designers, and conceptual artists who shaped the post-war era. Ferrara's work emerged as something both familiar and mysterious. Her wooden sculptures, layered, measured, almost architectural, seemed to rise from the earth like temples. They echoed ancient pyramids, ziggurats, and ceremonial forms, but without direct imitation. Each was built with precision, yet carried an emotional warmth that came from her choice of material. "I build spaces that people can feel," she once told an interviewer in the 1980s. "It's not just about seeing, it's about sensing balance and belonging." As her career evolved, Ferrara became a major figure in contemporary sculpture. Her works were exhibited in leading museums, including the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and numerous outdoor installations that changed how people experienced public art. Her structures invited stillness. They urged viewers to walk around, pause, and breathe. Many art critics described her pieces as quiet monuments. Despite her growing fame, Ferrara remained deeply private. Friends recall that she rarely sought attention and preferred to let the work speak for itself. "Jackie never needed the spotlight," said fellow sculptor Mary Miss in a tribute posted online. Her sculptures were her voice, strong, steady, and timeless. By the 1990s and 2000s, Ferrara had become a mentor to younger artists exploring the relationship between architecture and emotion. Her influence could be seen in the way new generations blended minimalism with human warmth, a balance Ferrara mastered through decades of patience and discipline. Even in her 80s, she continued to work. Visitors to her studio often described it as an oasis of calm. Wood stacked neatly, plans spread across the table, sunlight tracing patterns through the windows. She worked slowly, deliberately, with the same devotion she had always shown. "Time is my favorite material," she once said softly. "Everything I build comes from waiting." When news broke of her passing on October 22, 2025, tributes began pouring in from across the art world. The Whitney Museum released a statement calling her a visionary who gave form to silence. Art historian Douglas Druick wrote, "Jackie Ferrara's art teaches us how to see, not just objects, but the invisible rhythm of space." On social media, hundreds of artists shared images of her most famous installations, each post echoing gratitude and loss. Her family confirmed that Ferrara died peacefully at her home, surrounded by loved ones. She had been reflective in her final months, revisiting sketches, notes, and journals from her earliest projects. To those closest to her, she spoke often of closure, not in sadness, but in completion. She always said she built her life the same way she built her sculptures, her son Michael recalled. Step by step, layer by layer, with care and purpose. The story of Jackie Ferrara is more than that of an artist's success. It is a meditation on endurance, the endurance of form, of thought, of quiet defiance. She worked through shifting trends and changing tastes, never abandoning her belief that art could be both structured and soulful. Her wooden constructions, often mistaken for architectural studies, were deeply human. They captured how order and emotion can coexist, how balance can comfort us even in chaos. In many ways, her art reflected her own personality, disciplined, calm, and profoundly grounded. In galleries around the world, visitors still walk through spaces she designed, Large geometric courtyards, wooden stair temples, outdoor spirals that frame the horizon. Each of them feels like a quiet invitation to reflect. When you step into one of her spaces, you don't just see, you listen, an admirer wrote in a 2025 tribute. It's as if the air itself carries her rhythm. Ferrara's influence extends far beyond sculpture. She taught generations of artists to value patience in creation, to build rather than rush, to honor process over perfection. Her work appears in textbooks, lectures, and art programs that continue to explore the intersection between architecture, ritual, and art. In remembering her, curators and colleagues often describe the same thing, a presence that was both formidable and gentle. Jackie's genius was never loud, said curator Linda Goodbryant. It whispered, and that whisper will never fade. Ferrara's passing at 95 marks the end of a remarkable creative journey that spanned nearly a century. But like the structures she built, her story remains solid, anchored in the landscape of American art. Today, her sculptures stand in cities and campuses as reminders of her philosophy, that structure is a form of poetry, and simplicity can hold infinite meaning. For many, they are not just art pieces, they are meditations on being human, on the passage of time, on finding peace in repetition. As the art world reflects on her legacy, one line from her notebooks resurfaces, a line that perhaps best captures her life. Everything I've built will one day disappear, but for a moment it helped someone breathe. And that perhaps was Jackie Ferrara's greatest gift, the quiet power to make us pause, breathe, and see the world a little differently. Her pyramids will continue to rise in silence, carrying her spirit in every beam of wood, every line of symmetry, every corner touched by light. Though she is gone, her structures remain, monuments to a woman who built not for fame, but for feeling. Jackie Ferrara will be remembered not only as an artist of form, but as an architect of peace. The chess world awoke to heartbreaking news on October 19, 2025. Daniel Naroditsky, the American grandmaster and beloved online commentator, had passed away at just 29 years old. His death was confirmed quietly by his family, sending shockwaves through a community that had watched him grow from a teenage prodigy into one of the most respected voices in modern chess. In online forums, fans described the day as a silence across the board. The vibrant energy that once filled his streams and commentaries was suddenly gone. Messages poured in from fellow grandmasters, students, and fans, all morning. A player who had taught millions not just how to play chess, but how to think. Born on November 9, 1995, in San Mateo, California, Daniel Naroditsky showed a gift for the game at a remarkably young age. By the time he was 6, his parents noticed his fascination with patterns and puzzles. He would sit for hours replaying chess positions from memory, trying to find new ideas hidden in familiar moves. That quiet obsession soon turned into achievement. At age 12, he became the youngest published chess author in American history, writing a book that analyzed famous games with a wisdom far beyond his years. By his late teens, Naroditsky had earned the Grandmaster title, one of the highest honors in the chess world. But while many prodigies focused purely on competition, Danya's path was different. He wanted to understand the soul of the game, not just the score. He studied literature at Stanford University, balancing academics with tournaments, and often spoke about how storytelling and chess were deeply connected. In one interview, he said softly, "Every game is a story. It begins in uncertainty, rises through struggle, and ends with truth, win or lose." That line became one of his most quoted reflections, especially after his passing. As online platforms transformed chess into a global spectacle, Naroditsky adapted with ease. On Twitch and YouTube, he became a household name for chess fans around the world. His commentary was clear, calm, and kind, even to beginners. He explained complex tactics with patience, turning what once seemed intimidating into something deeply human. His speedrun series, where he climbed the online chess ladder while teaching strategy along the way, became legendary. Viewers tuned in not just for the games, but for the way he made them feel included. "He made you believe you could understand Grandmaster chess," one fan wrote on Reddit. "He talked to you like a friend, not a teacher." During major events, Naroditsky's voice became a trusted companion. Whether breaking down the tension of a world championship or laughing through a blitz stream, he had the rare gift of making chess feel alive. His thoughtful pauses, his analytical tone, and his occasional dry humor made him a favorite for viewers of all ages. But behind the confident voice was a man of deep introspection. Friends recall that he often worried about living up to expectations, both as a player and as a person. Danya was brilliant, but he was also gentle, said fellow Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura in a tribute. He cared about people. That's what made him special. In recent years, Naroditsky balanced professional commentary with teaching and writing. He became the head coach for the Charlotte Chess Center in North Carolina, mentoring young players and shaping future champions. He believed chess should be accessible to everyone, not just the elite. His students remember his kindness above all. "He never made you feel small," one of them said. "He made you believe you could get better, one move at a time." When the news of his death broke, tributes came from every corner of the chess world. Magnus Carlsen posted a short message on X writing, "Danya made chess feel personal." His love for the game inspired millions. Chess.com and the St. Louis Chess Club held moments of silence before broadcasts. Fans changed their profile pictures to black and white knight icons in his honor. Though the cause of his passing was not immediately made public, his family asked that people remember his joy for the game, not the pain of his loss. In a heartfelt statement, they wrote, "Daniel lived his life through learning, teaching, and sharing. His heart was full of gratitude for everyone who supported his journey." In the weeks that followed, the community came together to create digital tributes. Online tournaments were renamed in his honor. His Twitch channel, now silent, became a digital memorial filled with thousands of comments. Some shared stories of how his lessons helped them through difficult times. Others simply wrote, "Thank you, Danya." Naroditsky's impact reaches far beyond his titles. He represented the modern face of chess, thoughtful, humble, and accessible. He proved that intellect and warmth could coexist, that greatness didn't need arrogance, and that a true teacher leaves a piece of themselves in every student they guide. His influence also helped bring chess into mainstream culture. Through streaming, commentary, and collaboration, he introduced millions to the beauty of strategy and patience. Many say that the 2020s chess boom, the era of global tournaments and viral matches, wouldn't have been the same without his voice guiding it. Yet for those who knew him personally, his legacy was quieter. They remember his calm laughter during long games, his long walks after tournaments, and his constant reminder that losing was just another lesson. One of his last social media posts captured that spirit. "We don't control the outcome, only the effort. Make every move count." Daniel Naroditsky's story is one of brilliance and humility. He wasn't just a grandmaster of chess. He was a grandmaster of empathy, teaching, and grace under pressure. His journey reminds us that intelligence means little without compassion, and competition means little without connection. In the end, his life can be summed up in the balance he always sought, between winning and teaching, between strategy and humanity. And though he left the board too soon, his lessons remain in every stream replayed, every game studied, and every young player who dares to dream. As the world continues to honor his memory, one truth remains certain: Daniel Naroditsky didn't just move pieces, he moved people. And somewhere in the quiet hum of a late-night chess stream, his voice still echoes, calm, kind, and forever teaching.